Hey, hey, hey. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, Faith Walkers. How are you doing? I trust that everyone is doing well. It is March, and I certainly want to not lag behind in this month and to be sure to keep my word, if no one else but myself. Uh, I welcome you. It's Thursday and it is the day when we normally do our check-in. And so I just wanted to follow up with you, particularly those who were not able to join us for our monthly session last Tuesday evening, I think. And so this is another opportunity to connect. It's always good to connect as a group. I love to hear what you're doing. What are the wins that you are celebrating? What are you doing? How is life going for you? You know, sometimes life is lifing, and how is that impacting you? What are you working towards? What are you working on or towards? And how can we support you? How is your faith? This is a faith walking leadership and academy group, and we talk about walking by faith and not by sight. So, you know, at any given moment, it's a good time and an opportunity to check in with that. How are you? How is your faith? How is your faith walk? For us in the Episcopal tradition, and I guess in the Protestant tradition, we are in that season of Lent, and Lent is always that time annually of deeper reflection, and it is when we really um, take stock of our relationships, our primary relationship being our relationship with God. How is that going? And in our Bible study group, we've been spending a number of weeks talking about forgiveness. You know, forgiveness in body, mind, and spirit, and forgiveness really as it relates to you. Yes, forgiveness is a choice, forgiveness is a gift. And sometimes, forgiveness being a gift, the person that gets the biggest gift is you as the individual. Because sometimes we say, yeah, I've forgiven that, I've moved on, I've forgotten that. And then something shows up, some event triggers us many years later, even. And we realize, yes, I did forgive that person, or I did move past that event, but now something has happened and it has reminded me that, you know, a little seed is still there. There is still something that causes me unease, that causes me not to think the best about that person. And so we realize that forgiveness doesn't just happen and it's the end of it. There is that prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, which talks about one of the lines that stands out. It's around, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in giving up that we are ourselves set free. And sometimes when we pardon, when we forgive someone, we are actually forgiving ourselves as well. And yeah, so we've had some really amazing conversations about what does forgiveness look like. Um, and you know, because we are talking about the walls that we keep around us so that we keep out the sadness and we keep out the hurt. But because they're walls, we also keep out the joy that we owe to ourselves. And, Nelson Mandela talks about holding on to anger and resentment. Well, he says it a different way, actually. He talks about drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And and then another author actually said holding on to anger and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting that other person to die. It doesn't happen. You are the one that dies slowly because you're still right back there in the hurt. Anyhow, so that was really not what I was planning to talk about, but the issue of forgiveness is a real one and it's a live one for many. And it is how where are you at on that journey? Have you forgiven you? Sometimes our forgiveness is as simple as our frustration that we are not as far along as we might have thought we wanted to be at this time, and so we are frustrated. And sometimes it's forgiving ourselves, choosing to forgive ourselves to realize that, hey, time is on my side. Time is on my side. And there's something irritating my face. That time is on your side, and that God's timing is perfect. And so just being able to breathe and to take that in, that uh, maybe it's your measurement of time, maybe it's your understanding of what you think should have happened by now. Really, it is that time is on my side. Time has not run out. And so, yeah, so I know I went deep. There's something irritating my face. Yeah, so we have all the time that we need and just celebrate that fact. And so today, however, I wanted to jump in really also to check in with you. Last time we met, we were talking about really restarting, all restarting, looking at where we are at, making assessments, and just resetting on our goals and on the visions that we have. And how do we get ourselves moving again when we might have gone on hiatus? Some of us, we take extended breaks away from our goals. And so how do you restart? What's a good kickstart for you? And so we were talking in our session last Tuesday about some of the things you can do to restart. And we were looking at how do you get back to the goals that you have set, uh, and what are some of the actions that could be action triggers to get you back to where you want to go. And really also doing, we were thinking that in this time, a lot of people do vision boards at the beginning of the year. But, this time of the year could also be a time when you could be doing some kind of visioning exercise, something that acts as a trigger, a vision exercise that focuses on your specific goals that are going to move you forward in this season. And there are several guided vision exercises, certainly that I've been exposed to, that I have always found extremely helpful. And so maybe you need a visioning activity right now where you are at, or even, and that was the caption for tonight's session, doing an identity exercise. Have you ever done an identity exercise? How do you know uh, what's your current identity? You're like, well, Donnelly, that's kind of duh. I know who I am, I know what my identity is. But do you really know is your current identity? And is your current identity serving you? Does your identity need an upgrade? You might have been very familiar and comfortable with the identity that you have developed over the last number of years. But is that identity still relevant for where you are and where you're wanting to go? And how do you then create an identity today that is forward facing, that is future paced, and that you can step into that identity now, even when you feel, well, the identity that I really want, so many things are really not in place, that it's going to take a while. Well, there is a whole visioning process. There is a whole creation of an identity statement process that can help you to speak to the identity that you want in the future as if it is already here. And it is using neuro encoding, neuropsychology to also tell your brain, because our brain really cannot tell us that it's not the truth. Once we put a thought into our brain, that thought is going to, our brain is going to accept it as reality. So when you're crafting your identity statement, you are then like feeding your brain your desired identity. And so, what is that identity for you at the moment? What does it look like? And what is it looking like? And is it where you want to go? Is it future pace? Is it forward facing? uh, what does it look like? And if you're joining, say hi so that I can give you a shout out. What does your identity look like? What does your identity say about you? Are you excited about your identity statement? If you were to go up to someone to share with them your identity statement, would you be feeling excited? Are you feeling that that this identity is really what is serving you at the moment? And could I, if I asked you, um, are you able to tell someone, this is my identity, this is who I am, this is the person that I know that I'm made to be, and that even though people might say, but you're not all those things, and you're like, yet, but that's who I am in my thoughts and in the life that I am living and in the walking towards that identity that I am doing. And so the identity statement then it's an exercise that we would go through together. It's a visioning exercise, but it's also a very practical exercise where you use some of it, we have talked about. It's how you first take an account of who you are. So you write an extensive I am exercise. Hey, hi Jacqueline. Yes, hi, how are you? And great to see you. And you use we have a formula, so you fill out the formula. But before you get to filling out the identity statement formula, you start with really talking about, who are you? I am ABC, good or bad, no judgment. I am, and you make a listing of your qualities. And then you talk about, then we do another process. We are using adjectives that describe you, we're using nouns, we're using verbs. And then from that whole pool that you have created, awesome, awesome. Yes, good to see you. Great to hear that you're excellent. When you are able to see what you have written, then you're able through a visioning and discerning process to say, from these various categories, this is the identity statement that I know is the statement that best describes me. And part of the identity statement is also to think into who are some of the people um, that you most admire. They might be mentors, they might be historical figures, they might be just people in your life or people who you have come to know of. They could be dead, so historical, or they could be people who are alive and you have uh, admired some particular trait about them. What is something that you admire about them that you would like to emulate? And so all of that is taken into account when you're crafting your identity statement, and then you work through a statement that you are comfortable with, that you're excited by. And then, of course, in neuroencoding, we also use the whole body method. We are encoding what you see as your identity using movement, thoughts, movement. As I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. And as I do, so I have. But we're also bringing all of those things together to really encode into our DNA, into our subconscious, um, that powerful identity statement that we have come up with. And you can also put music to it. We In neuroencoding, there is a process of you can jump, and it's really future pacing yourself, scrambling the brain, and really using movement, all parts of your body, mind, and spirit to really anchor your vision, your identity statement into who you are. And it becomes second nature. So when people wake you up at 2 a.m. in the morning, you can say, this is who I am. So in the group, you might have seen me, I shared a video in the group of me doing my identity statement, which I came up with because we were challenged to do a particular part of that exercise and then to share it with the group as an accountability piece. So that was me just doing my assignment that I had promised to do. And so, I talk about me being joyful, tenacious, passionate, confident, healthy, resilient, gifted, visionary. I'm an illuminator of darkness. What is that thing that you feel you're called to do? A transformer of life. I inspire people to lead. I inspire leaders, a change maker, a trailblazer, someone that loves people, that faith walks, that takes action, that makes money, that magnetizes wealth to them, that gives light, and that reaps God's goodness and God's bounty. So I know I'm confident, I'm fierce, I'm amazing, and I rock. You know, and so what's your identity? How do you go about creating an identity statement? If there's enough interest, that's an activity that we can do together in the Faith Walkers Academy. That's certainly one tool I would love to equip you with in your and that you can have as part of your toolkit. So what are the things that define you? What is the identity that you would like to take on? What identity is it that you feel that you need to step into? And then who are the people you could model? One of our mentors tell us, if you don't have the belief in yourself right now, borrow my glasses and use my glasses to see yourself as you could be in your full potential, because that is how God sees you. That is how others see you. and you are just catching up to that vision of that future you, your future pacing to who you really are. So that's really the identity piece that I wanted to challenge people around. And then really just to hear from you, where are you at? What are you working on? Do you need to create a shift in your identity? Are you satisfied as you are right now? And are there still things that you are feeling called and pulled towards? So, what are the pulls in your life currently? So, that's really just some thoughts that I wanted to share, and curious to hear from those of you who are watching, or those of you who will watch this. And if you watch it later, do put hashtag replay, and those of you who are on could drop hashtag live so we kind of see who watched when and how. And you can always still do the activity um, of sharing. How would you describe yourself in a sentence? How would you, what 3 or 4 adjectives would you use to describe yourself? What 3 nouns would you use to describe yourself? And then what do you see yourself doing and becoming? And that's where the verb part of it happens. I am a person that. What are you doing? What is it that? I help to resource lives. I um, help to give people a vision, a purpose, a goal. What is it? What is that for you? And let me know. I want to hear. So drop in the comments, or share in our Facebook group. How would you answer those questions as you begin to fashion your current identity or your future identity? Because yeah, we kind of know who we kind of sort of are right now, but are we totally satisfied with who we are? Is there more for you? We started 2024 talking about more in 2024. So what's your more? What is it? What is that thing that you want to add to your identity? All right, I don't see any comments. So that's really the drop in. That's really where we are at the moment. And I would want to hear from you. Just I'm a change maker, courageous and charismatic. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And as you say that, you anchor yourself by saying, yes, I am a change maker. Yes, I am courageous. I am charismatic. I am called by the Most High God to fulfill my call of being a change maker, a courageous, charismatic change maker. That is who I am. And just anchor yourself in that identity. Yes, I love that. I love that. That's an awesome, a powerful one. And so I encourage the rest of you to also do that. And we can do a collective exercise together as well. So this is just the drop-in for the Thursday evening session. We are going to meet in the third Monday of the month, because we are heading into the holiday season at the end of the month with Easter and Holy Week. And so we are going to be doing the session on, I think, like the 24th, the 20, uh, yeah, it's that third Monday of the month, and we'll send out the information for you as well. as to when. It's the 25th. So we're going to have our next session on March the 25th. That's the beginning of Holy Week. And we will get together then, hopefully. And and Jacqueline also added that I'm unapologetically me and a lover of people. Awesome. Yeah. So as we fashion your identity, it could be that I am a courageous, charismatic change maker that unapologetic that is unapologetically me and who is a lover of people. Yay, your identity statement is powerful. And how do you, through constant repetition of that to yourself, anchor that in your in the cells of your being, of who you are, and just show up confidently as that person daily, as God has called you to be. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for being with me. It's great that I'm not talking to myself. Sometimes I do that, and I do that quite a lot. So it's good that somebody else was engaged in the live. So thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing all of you next week. Well, not next week, 2 Mondays from now, when we have our next live session. And in the interim, I will likely drop a meditation piece uh, with the theme for March. So thanks for joining, and I don't want to make this too long. So thank you for your attention. If you watch this, Jacqueline was on live, and thank you again for being on live. But for those of you who will watch the replay, drop hashtag replay and watch it and answer the questions. How would you describe yourself? What are 3 adjectives that you would use to describe who you are? What is it that you see yourself doing? The verb, and then the noun. How do you name yourself as well? So that would be awesome. And I see someone else tuned in who just drop us a hello, so we see who you are and give you a shout out even as we begin to wrap up the session. Welcome, 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 and we are happy that you've joined us, and I look forward to seeing you uh, soon. All right. So thanks, my friend. Thanks for joining. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful weekend as we head into the weekend. And happy, 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 happy International Women's Day tomorrow to all the sisters. Know that you are amazing and that you are an absolutely amazing representation of us as women, and I certainly salute you, and I am cheering you on, and continue to make impact, continue to be awesome change makers as women in our community, continue to be fierce and strong, and continue to be the light as you uh, illumine that path for others. So God bless you. Happy, happy International Women's Day. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.